All right, let's get one more round of applause for all the performances tonight. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jack, and I'd like to thank you all for being here for such an important milestone, the class of 2024. I had another speech prepared for today, but I still want to graduate, so I'm doing this speech instead. As I stand here today, I'm reminded of my middle school graduation. I wouldn't even call it a graduation, but it was all we had, a chance at closure that fell short. Our first year of high school was a lost year, and when we came back for sophomore year, it felt incomplete. As class of 2024, we had to relearn how to go to school. Our shared experience as sophomores was that when a teacher asked a question to a classroom full of students, not a single person raised their hand. I think many of us were unsure, maybe fearful, because even though we were back in school, in familiar surroundings, things weren't the same. Entering high school was already a significant adjustment to our lives, and this was just one more social obstacle we had to deal with before we were able to get our lives back on track. It took time, but we eventually moved on. When I look back at my high school experience, I don't think of all the AP classes I've taken or the nights I was up studying. I think about the time I spent with my friends and the connections I made in my community and in my school. My education didn't start at high school. It started at grade school, at Camas Ridge, with my kindergarten teacher, Terry Farina. She said her job wasn't to teach kids how to read. Her job was to make sure they wanted to come back to school every day. In addition to Terry, I've had more than 80 teachers who have been a part of my life and my education, and every single one of them has put their time, heart, and energy into helping me succeed. I say this because I want to recognize everyone that's had a part in bringing all of us here today, whether that be teachers, counselors, coaches, friends, or family. These past 4 years have been the hardest years of my life, and I imagine many of us on stage today are uneasy about leaving high school and entering this new and daunting world. But when I look back at my peers, I'm not worried, because I see some of the brightest, most compassionate, and caring people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah!
We may have only had 3 years in our high school, but I will carry these years with me for the rest of my life. I think that Gen Z is one of the most unique generations. We communicate with each other using an online language, and it seems that we spend more time online than we do in person. Having received a full year of online school, I can't say it's an upgrade from the status quo, but I think our access to technology can do some amazing things in the future. We're growing up in a time where everyone has the information of the world in their back pocket. As we enter the future, we face an ongoing climate crisis, worldwide political unrest, and with AI encroaching on our jobs, we'll be on the forefront of many major challenges. We won't have it easy, but the younger generations have always weathered the storms that the world throws our way. And even with all of these challenges, class of 2024 won't quit. My plans for the future are similar to a lot of people on stage today. I'll be attending college in Oregon, and sometime after that, I'll be moving to Taiwan to be with my family. I think the hardest part about graduating high school is leaving your comfort zone and not knowing when you'll find your way back. But I think that those moments when we make the decision to change our lives is when we grow the most. Of the many lessons I've learned in high school, the most important ones I've learned are to be kind, to help others, and to be true to yourself. I'd like to touch on my experience as a BIPOC student here at South, because my experience is not the same as most people on stage today. I don't see myself represented in the history books at my school, and as a mixed race student, it's my responsibility to educate myself about race, because it has and will affect my life. I consider myself fortunate to have grown up in a multicultural household because it gives me a unique perspective and has allowed me to experience the best from both worlds. So I'd like to say thank you to the South BIPOC community for the friendship and support I've received over the years. I'll finish by expressing my deepest gratitude to each and every person that was a part of my high school journey, whether that be teachers, students, or staff, because you were what made my experience bearable, and you made my life better. So thank you for everything, no matter how small. Thank you, South Eugene. Please welcome our principal, Keith Zublin, and our assistant principal, Rhiannon Betcher, to hand out diplomas.